Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very special edition of Talking Wrestling TXN. It is Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock, and tonight we will be recapping the biggest wrestling show that is one of the biggest stadium shows in a very long time that had so much hype, so much expectation that this literally had to be a be all to end all. Basically, all the chips were in for AEW as they were at the Cathedral of Soccer, Wembley Stadium, London, England, for All In. Did they deliver? Did they hit the home run that they were hoping for? Well, you're about to find out right now. Starting it off, normally we never talk about pre-show fights, but we got to get into this. It was MJF and Adam Cole as they challenged the Aussie Open for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. The winners of the bout in 7 minutes and 45 seconds, and new Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions Maxwell Jacob Friedman and Adam Cole, baby. I cannot believe it, man. I did not think this was going to happen. This was a stunner to jump it off in the bite at the 0 hour or the hour zero, I think they called it. But my goodness, right out of the gate, and we get a stunner in London. History made, unprecedented crowning, unbelievable turn of events. Because as many of you guys know, last night when we did the preview, Anthony Florio and myself, we thought Aussie Open was going to get this. We thought that MJF and Adam Cole could not coexist, that they could not work together as a cohesive unit. We thought the implosion was going to happen right then and there. Nope, they did not. They won the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. Stunning, stunning, stunning upset. Did not see this coming from a mile away. 2.5 stars. It was a solid fight, a good opener. It felt a little rushed in certain areas, but remember, this is a big show. This is, normally pre-show fights, they don't give them that much time. They normally give a lot of time for the main card, 4 hours long. So you knew they were gonna probably tease a little bit, not give us the full menu. Hey, it was a nice little appetizer. I did not mind it. But my goodness, Anthony Florio, come on in. We guessed Aussie Open was going to win this match. And boy, did we end up getting egg in the face big time on this one.
Oh, you better believe it. I mean, who would have thought we would see we thought this was going to be the implosion right here. We thought this is where somebody was going to turn on somebody. We thought something was going to happen. No, it did not. And what was the time of that fall once again, MF? I'm sorry.
7:45.
2.5, 2 3/4. Yes, you nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. And boy, you want to talk about getting the crowd amped? There you go. I mean, no better way to do it. And in the immortal words of MF and Gorilla Monsoon, absolutely, history made. This was most definitely an unprecedented crowning, if there ever was one. I mean, if this wasn't, tell me what is, because none of us saw this coming. None of us. And hey, we're all for it. We'll gladly take a surprise here. We love to be proven wrong here. So fun little sprint here. I mean, pre-show, like I said, great way to and the crowd, man. I mean, the match was solid, played up the story at the heart of it, and the fans reacted to every spot accordingly. The post-match saw Adam Cole intently stare at the AEW World Championship, not losing sight of his goal despite the elation of the title win he just experienced. Whether that means he betrays MJF or the devil shows its true colors will be the question on everyone's mind as they take to the squared circle in the main event. First off, guys, How about that setup, huh? Was that setup something? I mean,
There was some
visually, yeah.
I was gonna say some people actually poo-pooed about the setup.
Of course,
There was some people that were not
not impressed.
enthused or not impressed with the setup for All In. I'll say this: the only criticism I have with the setup, I thought the barricades were too close to the ring, very too close to the ring. I didn't like that setup. I think they should have been more further back. But other than that, that's the only nitpick I have with the stage. I thought everything else looked amazing. I just didn't like the barricade because I thought the barricades were way too close to the ring.
Fair enough. But I was going to say, visually impressive setup that looks and feels like a massive spectacle. The enormity of the moment was painted on the faces of Fletcher and Davis as they entered Wembley Stadium. Surprisingly solid support for Aussie Open, but not to the level of the deafening ovation for the challengers. What a cool moment for referee Bryce Remsburg, who went from appearing for Chicada in Reading, Pennsylvania over a decade ago to refereeing in front of 80,000 plus fans. It is impossible not to feel good for longtime indie mainstays who gritted through the good, the bad, and the ugly to get to this moment. The kangaroo kick from MJF drew an enormous pop, overshadowed only by the vaunted double clothesline that set up the finish. And after the match, and that was pretty much it. So I'm not gonna go into any more further detail on that. So this was 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. Michael Bullock, what a way to start the show. What a big surprise here. I mean, none of us saw this coming. We thought this is where the implosion was going to happen, but no, they pulled the trigger. MJF and Adam Cole, new Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions.
And Florio, what's the one thing that we like here when it comes to WWE or anything in general?
What's the one thing that we like? I don't know. You tell me.
Unpredictability.
Unpredictability. Oh yes. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep. Yes. Unpredictability. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I had the Aussie Open winning this one as well. I'm like thinking either MJF or Adam Cole, one of those two was going to turn on each other, and the implosion was going to happen. But no, that did not happen, and we end up with egg on our face, and and now MJF and Adam Cole are now the new ROH tag team champions. So now the question is, what happens when they end up facing each other later on in the main event? So we'll find out. But 2.5 stars is my rating on this. So with that being said, Fletch, let's move on.
Next up we had was Hook going one-on-one with Jack Perry in an FTW rules match for the FTW title. Winner of the bout, 8 minutes and 20 seconds, and new FTW champion Hook gets the title back. Big win for him. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Hook righted the biggest wrong of his career in the night's second match, defeating Jack Perry in an energetic brawl to regain his FTW championship. The match was physical, had great heat thanks to the superb heel work of the egotistical, entitled Perry, and concluded appropriately with the second-generation anti-hero scoring the submission win with Red Rum. The question now becomes where Perry goes from here. He is on a roll with his recent attitude change and heel turn. Does he jump into another program right away, or does he escalate things with Hook? The finish here suggests it will not be the latter, but with such a quick turnaround before All Out next Sunday, it is a realistic possibility. Perry received a special entrance as he was driven into the arena in a car. Real glass, Crimea River, Perry said into the camera, an attempted aha moment amid reports that CM Punk told him not to use real glass in a promo a few weeks back. Perry bumped on it, and it meant nothing in the grand scheme of the bout. Perry's heel work, all things considered, is really good. He is going to be a star in this role if he can avoid getting bogged down in pettiness and backstage nonsense. Another 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. And we thought Perry was gonna keep the belt, but no, they gave it back to Hook. We should have taken that into consideration. But it is what it is. But So not much more to say here. 2.5, 2 3/4. Michael Bullock. Nothing left to say except Hook has brought the title that his father Taz made famous, and the FTW Championship is back where it belongs, in the Taz family household.
And nobody is more happier than Taz, because Taz has been very critical of Jack Perry. I mean, for the way he's put down that title, to the point that he thought he was going to retire it, but Hook had other ideas. But yeah, now Hook has the title right back where it belongs, in the family household. So another 2.5-star match on this one. So yeah, like you said, what happens next with Jack Perry? I mean, do they continue this feud, or do they move on to something else? I mean, because like you said, this heel work that he's doing right now is absolutely awesome, and I do hope that they keep this momentum going. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And unfortunately for that, like you talked about with Jack Perry about the backstage shenanigans, unfortunately, there was some backstage shenanigans. We'll get into that in a little bit, because it stemmed from an issue with this individual. The main card started, and we had CM Punk versus Samoa Joe for the Real World Championship. The winner of the bout, in 14 minutes even, still the Real World Champion, CM Punk, as he takes down Samoa Joe. Michael Bullock, you lead off.
Yeah, this to me was a good jump off to the main card of All In, and yeah, the outcome to me was never in doubt. CM Punk, of course, still the Real World's champion. So yeah, so now the big question here is, guys, is what's next for CM Punk? So we'll have to wait and see. So as far as this match goes, 3.5 stars is my rating. So it's yours, Fletch.
It's a 3.5-star bout. Obviously, I think the thing is that at some point, I believe it will be CM Punk versus whoever is the AEW champion, and then there'll probably be a unification bout. That's the ultimate goal, I believe. That's probably coming down the pipeline. Where is that going to go? I don't know. But one thing is for sure, CM Punk, it wasn't the classic like he had with Joe back of Ring of Honor days, but it was still a damn good fight. 3 to 3.25 stars. However, like I said, the backstage shenanigans did actually rear its ugly head. After this thing went down, Punk and Jack Perry got into it. A brawl broke out backstage in the locker room area, right near Gorilla, is what we're being told. Horrible moment, horrible scene to happen, and especially of all nights, of all the times for an AEW locker room blow up to happen, it literally happens at All In London, man. That is so messed up. Jack Perry got bounced out of the arena, and I'll even go as far to say there's been some reports. There's some people, some AEW fans, that is already calling for Jack Perry to be fired. Like, that's how bad this has gotten. They're saying, and apparently it sounds like, and I don't want to start any rumors or anything like that, but according to reports, it sounds like Jack Perry actually started this. This was not CM Punk's fault. That this sounds like it was Jack Perry. He initiated it. He caused the drama, and he got into it with CM Punk. It's not the other way around. Unlike the last time around when Punk was responsible that started the media scrum, this time Punk was on his P's and Q's. It seems like Jack Perry crossed the line and initiated the fight.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as we heard of this, I mean, everybody was probably thinking, "Oh no, don't tell me CM Punk is starting all this again." But
No, this was
rumors we
according
heard.
to a
I
few.
think the heat's going to be on Jack Perry here,
Yes.
and and this is where I got to call Jack Perry out on this. I mean, why of all the times? I mean, you got a big event like this, a big international event at a historic place like Wembley Stadium, and you had to go and start this. You, my friend, are the total definition of a nog and a diva. I mean, if you're looking for attention, there are other ways you could have done it. And then you literally had to start this scrum. I mean, it's a big pay-per-view, a big time event. And instead of talking about this, instead of talking about the event, we're now all talking about this.
Yeah.
Tony Khan's got some big time problems here. And he needs to fix this problem quickly before things really continue to escalate.
And that was the thing that we were hearing, and now I don't know what's gonna happen. And the thing is, Anthony actually mentioned it because it seems like there was a major chip on the shoulder of Jack Perry, and maybe we can say maybe the booking of it, having Punk come out when Perry was heading to the back, as the first fight of the night, maybe that triggered it. I don't know, but they got into an altercation, and all of a sudden, here we go. So obviously, black eye on AEW of all nights for that to happen. Definitely not what you want to see. And the thing is that
and I'll say this too, Fletch. And I'll say this too, Fletch. I mean, sorry to interrupt, but if you're WWE right now, you're probably like, okay, this is probably the best thing that could have happened to us. I mean, they have a big time event like this, and this is happening. This could be good for us, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with it.
I don't think WWE would, because there's so many good things that came out of this show that I think AEW could definitely spin it in a way where they're going to make this story as a minute story. They could easily sweep this under the carpet. They could easily say, we're going to deal with this internally. And I think AEW would definitely have the right and the wherewithal to do that, because
I understand that, but the thing is, once a story like this is out there,
I get it, but again, AEW is savvy enough, like any wrestling organization, they're savvy enough to know that you don't air out the dirty laundry like this. It was very unfortunate that this got out, that this got leaked out, and we're reporting it. This was unfortunate. Imagine if this brawl broke out at that arena. What if that fight would have spilled out for the whole world to see that? Oh,
that would have been
bad. God, that would have been horrific.
Yeah, AEW really needs to do something to basically, as I would like to say, try to put the fire out before it really starts to burn, as I would like to say.
Well, we'll see what happens, because like I say, AEW fans are siding with CM Punk this time around, and they are definitely going after Jack Perry tonight. It sounds like Perry was the instigator. He initiated this. I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. So, look, enough about that. Let's get back into the wrestling. Anthony Florio, CM Punk successfully defends the Real World title over Samoa Joe. 14 minutes was the time of the fall.
That'd be good enough for about 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star on that. Excuse me. From armories and high school gyms to Wembley Stadium, CM Punk and Samoa Joe wrote the latest chapter in their historic and influential rivalry today in the opening contest of the All In pay-per-view. CM Punk overcame the focused punishing assault at the hands of Joe to retain here. Star-studded match with competitors that fans care about. Exactly the type of contest you start a show off with. The crowd was hot. Not to mention decidedly split for Punk and rode on the roller coaster the real world's champion and his destructive challenger took them on. Punk likely moves on to a new opponent, be it Ricky Starks or someone else, with All Out in his hometown of Chicago next Sunday night. Perhaps he tests that claim to the world title against the man who leaves Wembley with the officially recognized version of it. Much respect for Samoa Joe from the fans in the stadium and a clearly split crowd for Punk. Maybe MF may know about this. Punk sported a rain jacket similar to the one he wore throughout his Ring of Honor career, and specifically during the original trilogy with Samoa Joe, MF?
Yes, that was an homage to his Ring of Honor days, yes.
I'm not surprised you knew that. This had a big match feel thanks to the stars involved. Arthur Ashe, Wembley Stadium. You bring CM Punk in, so that shows of that size are possible. CM Punk broke out John Cena's 5 moves of doom, then dropped a Hulk Hogan leg drop on Samoa Joe, who no-sold it and hulked up in a fun sequence. 3.5, 3 3/4. Excellent jump off here. Very good jump off. So with that, MF, we move on to that 6-man tag team match that we almost forgot to talk about last night.
Yeah, and it was Konosuke Takeshita and Bullet Club Gold, Juice Robinson and Jay White. They went up against the Golden Elite, Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega, and Adam Hangman Page, winners of the bout in 20 minutes and 30 seconds. To Konosuke Takeshita and Bullet Club Gold. Oh my God. They pulled the rug out from under me. I could not believe this happened. I could have sworn I really felt that the Golden Elite was going to win this, but they didn't. Bullet Club Gold gets the win, and that's a massive win for Juice Robinson and Jay White, and for Konosuke Takeshita. That's a massive win for them, because to beat the likes of Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Page, I mean, Ibushi, former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Kenny Omega, a former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion in his own right, former AEW World Heavyweight Champion, and a AAA Mega Campeon in his own right. And then Adam Hangman Page, I mean, former former AEW World Champion in his own right. I mean, this was a stunning upset, a stunning turn of events for me. And this was, you could easily make an argument that this could have been the fight of the night. There was a number of matches that could have been fight of the night worthy, but this one definitely hit. This was easily 3 3/4 to 4. Anthony, it's yours.
Did you say 22:30?
20 minutes and 30 seconds.
Oh, 20.5. Okay. That definitely is around the 4 1/4 to 4.5 range there. This was all action all the time with little time for rest holds or slowdowns. The crowd ate it up red hot for Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega specifically. There were moments of disjointed action and the occasional sloppy spot, and a lot of that can be attributed to trying to include as much as humanly possible in the time allotted. The obvious direction following this will see Kenny Omega square off with Konosuke Takeshita, continuing his rivalry with his former protege, as well as the deceitful Don Callis, presumably as soon as All Out next Sunday night. One moment here. It's got to refresh. A big pop accompanied the babyface trio. Juice Robinson may be the most underrated guy in the company. He has an enormous personality to lace up any match he is in. He is also a vastly improved wrestler than he was when he first embarked on his journey to New Japan for wrestling. Don Callis selling the near fall on Takeshita by Page was a great touch and put over how important Takeshita is to him and his expansion of the Don Callis family as its founding competitor. And Jay White saved Takeshita from a V-trigger, and the heel responded by rolling Omega up for the win. 4 1/4 stars. 4 to 4 1/4 stars. One of the fights of the night for sure. This card was loaded with a bunch of them, so not much more to say on that. Not much more to say on that. So Michael Bullock, the heel team goes over here. Maybe Omega and Takeshita next Sunday night in Chicago, perhaps. We'll see.
as a matter of fact, I mean, I heard during the press conference, it looks like we're going to get it at the All Out event next week in Chicago. Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita, or in between those two, yeah, I expect something good out of that one. And but Florio didn't. How did Konosuke Takeshita win the match for his team?
Jay White rolled him up for the win.
Oh, Jay White who rolled him up. All right. Well, how did that happen? I mean, what was it that Jay White did?
I'm not sure, Bullock. I'm
Pulling
not
the
sure. Just go off
tights and getting the win.
Oh, pulling the tights and getting the win. Yes, I'm sorry about that. I had a very long day today. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely understandable. So, 4.25 is my rating for this match. I mean, it was still a good match. I mean, yeah, the roll up of Doom was the outcome here. I mean, yeah, this rivalry is definitely far from over. We're getting the match, Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita at the All Out event, and yeah, we'll see what happens with that. And don't think for a minute that that Don Callis is going to have a little say during that match. So that slimy sleazeball, that I mean, many people can't stand, especially especially me here. So, but yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. Let's move right along, Fletch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This is an interesting development of so next up we had was the Ring of Honor. Well, no, the AEW World Tag Team titles on the line. FTR versus the Young Bucks. And it was FTR winning it. 21 minutes, 45 seconds. They successfully defend the titles. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
4.5 stars for this. You could go higher if you wanted to. The two teams threw everything they had at each other, putting each other down with their own finishers in an attempt to add insult to injury. FTR and the Young Bucks built on spots from their previous two encounters to deliver another superb encounter that concluded with FTR countering a Meltzer driver into the Shatter Machine for the win and successful defense of the AEW World Tag Team Championship. And when it did not work, the Bucks went back to Old Faithful, but a momentary hesitation based on exhaustion and an alert Harwood allowed the champions to put the opposition away. The crowd was split right down the middle with dueling chants for the teams. The commentary enhanced the presentation, and the sense of urgency from the competitors themselves helped heighten the stakes. This was great professional wrestling, and regardless of one's opinions of the Bucks and their style, they have always meshed well with FTR, and this was further evidence of their incredible chemistry. Matt superkicked Harwood off the apron, preventing a hot tag in a perfectly timed spot. Harwood stacked Nick up in an ode to the finish of British Bulldog Bret Hart from Wembley at SummerSlam 1992. A great spot and an even better false finish. Wheeler aided on a 450 splash attempt, a callback to the team's Full Gear 2020 bout. Unlike that night, it was not enough to cost him the bout. The finish was perfectly timed and an excellent exclamation point on the contest. The Bucks refused the post-match handshake, refusing to acknowledge the victors and show them respect. Yeah, there's probably more to this than meets the eye. So 4.5 stars, incredible match. But then again, look who we had here. No big surprise. So there isn't much more to say here, Michael. And hey, one other thing, we all thought that the Young Bucks were going to win the titles because of the recent arrest of a Wheeler, but no, they kept the titles on them. I'm a little surprised, but at least they did the right thing. I mean, to be honest, the right team won this match. That's all I'm going to say on that. We fell for the hype. That's all we did. So 4.5 stars, incredible match. So Michael Bullock, you thought maybe the Young Bucks were going to win the titles because of the recent arrest, but no, FTR keeps the belts. Good on AEW for that.
Yeah, you got to give kudos to AEW on this one. I mean, they could have done the exact opposite and take the titles off of FTR and put on the Young Bucks because, like you said, of the Cash Wheeler situation with his arrest. But they didn't do that. I mean, good for them. And like you said, the right team went over here. What a match this was. But then again, when you got two of the best tag teams in the ring, in FTR and the Young Bucks, you expect something really special, and that's what they gave us here. So 4.5 stars. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, so 4.5 stars, no doubt about it. Total agreement with you guys. Um, we're just gonna move right on along. Michael Bullock, you'll be leading off on this next matchup as it is the Stadium Stampede fight. Eddie Kingston, the Best Friends, and Beta El Zero Miedo versus Santana, Ortiz, and uh, the Blackpool Combat Club, the Face Squad, Eddie Kingston, the Best Friends, and Beta El Zero Miedo wins it. 21 minutes, 30 seconds. Michael Bullock, it is yours.
I'm going to give this another 4.5 stars. I mean, what another. I mean, this is what you expect when you got Stadium Stampede, but there was one moment, Fletch, in the match where you really got a little cringeworthy, and it's what happened with John Moxley.
Yeah.
Remember those the skewers that he had?
Sure,
He was going to use.
Yep.
And then Penta basically put the skewers on Moxley's head, and then it just stayed right on him. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
That was just. I mean, that was sick. I mean, man. I mean, there were times when I saw that I cringed. I cringed so much during that. But did you? I mean, but did you think for 1 minute that John Moxley was going to feel any kind of pain whatsoever from that? Not in your freaking life.
Because, absolutely not. Not my guy. Not my guy Moxley. No way.
Yeah, John Moxley. I mean, you're literally going to have to do more to John Moxley for him to feel any kind of pain. But then again, he's so used to this. But yeah, I mean, the face teams won this, and yeah, this was crazy. So 4.5 stars, Fletch. As I give it to you, I got a feeling John Moxley's gonna have a busy night trying to go through what happened with his head.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. This was, oh my God, what a match this was. You could easily make an argument that this was also another fight of the night candidate. I know this was one of the top 4 matches that a lot of people were talking about. This is another 4.25, 4.5 star bout. If you want violence, you got the violence. You wanted mayhem, you got mayhem. Some people are calling it the best Stadium Stampede match in the history of AEW. I'll give you that. I'm not going to argue that. This was as good as you could have gotten, man. It could not have been any more perfect than what it was. Yeah, incredible match, incredible fight. The outcome never in doubt, and congratulations to the winner. Look, we were thinking Blackpool Combat Club and Santana Ortiz was going to win this, and they lost. That was a stunning upset, in my opinion, because when you see the caliber of an Eddie Kingston, a Beta El Zero Miedo, and the Best Friends against the guys of the Blackpool Combat Club, you would be thinking, there's no way they're losing this. Moxley, Claudio, and Wheeler, you don't think they're going to lose this, but they did. They lost it. So, yeah, great match. Anthony, it's yours.
Another excellent Stadium Stampede match, as always. I mean, these are always fun to watch. And again, MF, there was something else we should have taken into consideration with this, and that is almost every time there's been one of these, the face team usually always wins. We should have taken that into accord here. That's what we should have done. But Orange Cassidy proved his toughness today, wrapping his hand in glass-covered duct tape and rocking Claudio Castagnoli with an orange punch to score the win in a violent, brutal Stadium Stampede match. And the match was wild and chaotic, and would have meant so much more as a feud ender had we not had any anarchy in the arena, blood and guts, a parking lot brawl, and it all in short order. Orange Cassidy breaking out of his lackadaisical shell and pulling out all the stops as he earned the win should have meant so much. Instead, it was another violent brawl that felt like more of the same rather than the defining match it should have been for the guys involved. That's my only little criticism. Moxley endured cooking skewers to the forehead, stumbling around to sell the imagery of violence. Santana powerbombed Penta through chairs, leaving the former tag champion unable to continue. Moxley stabbed Cassidy in the forehead with a fork, busting him open. Trent Beretta's mom, Sue, drove her trademark white van into the stadium, drawing a big pop. At least there was that. Penta reemerged later as Penta Oscura. MF, you and I know that, the darker version of the luchador. Eddie Kingston made another dramatic late match return, this time with a steel chair wrapped in barbed wire. He immediately attacked Claudio in a moment of nice continuity as his hatred for the ROH World Champion then set aside his friendship with Moxley to do battle with him. Another 4.25 star match. So there isn't much more to say here except MF. We move on now to the Fatal 4-Way match for the AEW Women's Championship.
Yes, we do. The champion, Hikaru Shida, puts her title on the line against Toni Storm, Saraya, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, winner of the bout in 8 minutes and 50 seconds, and the new AEW Women's World Champion, Saraya, wins the title. I called it. I predicted it. This is the one that I called, and I got it. This is one that I could pat myself on the back and get the bragging rights on this one. Look, it was about a 3-star bout. It wasn't the perfect matchup, but the ending and the moment was logical. I knew they were gonna pull that trigger. I knew that it was London. You knew it was probably gonna go to Saraya, being from Norwich, and she gets it. She gets the moment. I felt like this. If Jamie Hayter was here, she would have won the title. They were gonna give it to an England girl. This was one of those where it just made the logical sense. I know storyline-wise, it's bad because you just literally made Hikaru Shida a transitional champion. We will wait and see how that plays out down the line. But Saraya finally gets her golden moment. This was what we were waiting for since she made her debut at Arthur Ashe Stadium about a year or so ago. And now the culmination, Saraya, the new AEW Women's Champion of the World. Anthony Florio, it is yours. Like I said, about 2.5 to 3. History made in London again tonight.
Kudos to you, MF, on that one. You had it. Saraya completed her comeback in Wembley, defeating Toni Storm, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Hikaru Shida to win the AEW Women's World Championship. The match had a lot going on, including the apparent demise of the Outcasts amid explosive tension between the winner and Toni Storm, but it also felt rushed at points. There were a lot of spots piled on top of each other, and the important ones were not given much time at all to breathe. The potential breakup of the Outcasts is for the best, as Toni Storm is a star in her own right and does not need to be bogged down by a faction that long ago lost sight of what its purpose was in the first place. The question is where the women's division goes from here. Saraya has wrestled a very limited number of matches since her comeback, and the last thing women's wrestling in AEW needs right now is a champion who does not compete. Her win was a great moment in time for her and her family, but it leaves more questions than answers. Of course, all of that can be rectified if Toni Storm, Britt Baker, or Hikaru Shida, or literally anyone else, dethrones her in Chicago next Sunday night at All Out. Saraya got the big hometown entrance set to Queen's "We Will Rock You." She was accompanied to the squared circle by her family. Excalibur put over Shida's previous reign as champion and how it unfortunately took place in front of an empty arena. Saraya's mother held Baker while Storm chopped her. An errant second blow knocked Mom out and resulted in a physical confrontation between the Outcast teammates. Soho hit the ring and tried to talk Storm out of damaging Saraya's neck. Storm rocked her with a forearm as the Outcast appeared to be in disarray, much like the bout. Saraya celebrated with her family in a moment that was nice in the moment, but does little to inspire faith or excitement in the women's division right now or moving forward. So that's really all I can put on it. This is about 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star for me on this one. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, yes, there appears to be more questions than answers going forward when it comes to the future of the women's division after this outcome today. But at the same time, though, what a great moment for Saraya and her family in Wembley in front of those over 80,000 fans to become the women's champion. What a comeback story for Saraya, especially after that very, very nasty injury she suffered years ago.
Yeah, I mean, what a moment for Saraya. I mean, when it was back in 2018, I mean, we all remember that night when, of course, when she was in WWE as Paige, when she suffered that neck injury, and it was so bad that she unfortunately had to retire. And I mean, I personally did not think we would ever see a moment like this again. But the moment when she came back, and especially in AEW as Saraya, and she was cleared to wrestle again, part of me was rooting for her. I mean, I really wanted Paige to win this match, especially since, number one, it was in England, and this would be the ultimate comeback story that would be complete. And that's what we got right here with her family at ringside. And I mean, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens now. I mean, if she does start to wrestle more, I mean, especially now as the champion, because like you said, she's been limited when it comes to wrestling. But I mean, and if they want to put the title on someone else, but we'll have to wait and see. But it's a great moment for her, and yeah, I think there's definitely some disarray in the Outcast. I mean, and I think the instigator with all this, I think it's Toni Storm, because, like you said, I mean, during this match, she basically went after the neck of Saraya. Ruby Soho tried to stop her from doing that, and Toni wasn't having any of it. I don't know about you guys, but it seems like Toni Storm has become unhinged since she lost that AEW Women's World Title. So I think she's the instigator of the disarray of the Outcast. We'll see what happens as time goes on, but still, great moment for Saraya. 2.5 to 3. There's really nothing more for me to say except, Fletch, it's yours. I mean, great moment for Saraya, but there's definitely some problems with the Outcast, and I think Toni Storm is the problem.
Well, we'll wait and see, because, like you said, whenever a title is involved, a lot of the times it does create a lot of drama and a lot of problems. So yeah, is there a possibility that could have happened? Absolutely. At the end of the day, history was made, and we have a new champion. So good for her. Well done. All right. So next up, we did have was Darby Allin and Sting versus Christian Cage and Swerve Strickland in the coffin match. When it was all said and done, winner of the bout, 16 minutes even, was Sting and Darby Allin. And for Darby, no rest for the weary, because now he's got a TNT title fight 1 week from tonight, as he will be going up against Luchasaurus at All Out in Chicago. That was also confirmed here tonight. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
The bout was a fun, hardcore brawl that did not descend into excessiveness, but hit its marks. Sting had the opportunity to shine in what may be his last major stadium show. Darby Allin was his typical daredevil self. Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage were both the cerebral villains we know them to be, and both Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus made appearances late. The match did not break new ground or innovate. It was not art, nor was it something likely to be remembered well beyond today's show. What it was, though, was an inoffensive culmination of one feud, Allen versus Strickland, and the latest chapter in another that will continue next Sunday at All Out when Allen challenges Luchasaurus for the TNT Championship. Oh. Bear with me, I'm stuck for a moment. Okay. Sting and Allen entered the arena amid the former's final WCW theme, Seek and Destroy by Metallica. Whoa. With his hands restrained, Allen flew through the air and wiped out Strickland at ringside. If at first you don't succeed, throw yourself on top of Strickland and break the darn table anyway. This is about... actually, there is more. All of what these four attempted to do here, while different, was overshadowed by the chaos of the Stadium Stampede earlier. Nigel McGuinness had a funny commentary moment saying, "Don't do it. That man is a father." He hilariously said on commentary moments after Tony Schiavone recalled Cage kicking his own daughter out of the arena a few weeks back. Allen took a nasty bump, dropping on the coffin during a coffin drop. Sting used the baseball bat to prevent the lid from closing on the coffin, thus saving him and Allen from defeat. 3.5, 3 3/4 of a star for the casket match. And it was Swerve who went in. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, Swerve was the one that got thrown into the casket, and the lid was shut on him. I know.
Right team won. Right team won, yes. Wrong guy went in the
casket. Yep, I was about to say that.
Unfortunately, right. Bullock and I didn't get what we really wanted out of it. But as long as Darby and Sting wins, that's all that matters. That's fine.
Yeah, nope,
so it's gonna have to be fine. We're not happy about it, but we're gonna have to be fine about it. So
yeah. So Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Whatever.
Like Florio said, or like Florio was hoping for. He was hoping for Christian Cage. Sorry, guys, it was Swerve that went in.
Well, like you said, guys. I mean, the right team won, but the wrong guy went in the casket. I mean, it to me, it should have been Christian Cage. I mean, after all the deplorable and disgusting things that Christian Cage has said, I mean, especially about Nick Wayne's father. I mean, that literally rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, I get you're trying to build heat on Christian Cage as this heel, but there were other ways they could have done this. I mean, it was chaotic, it was crazy, but yeah, now Darby Allin's gotta face Luchasaurus for the TNT Championship at All Out, and here's a little memo to Christian Cage, and I'm gonna say this one time and one time only. You are not the TNT champion. It's Luchasaurus that is. He was the one that won that belt. He earned it. And you're going around bragging about it, thinking that you won the title. No. And especially after kicking your own daughter out of the arena just for touching the title, you, my friend, are the total definition. And I'm going to bring up an old phrase that he used to be called in WWE. You, my friend, are the total definition of a CLB. That's all I'll say on that. So get that through your thick skull, Christian. You are not the TNT champion. Period. End of quotation. End of statement. It's yours, Fletch.
All right. And with that said, we're just going to move right on along. Next up we had was Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho. And it was Will Ospreay winning the match in 14 minutes and 55 seconds. So with that said, we'll just who leads off on this? Is it Michael Bullock or is it Anthony? Actually, I did Saraya. He did the Darby. Okay, nope, Bullock, it's yours.
What was the time of the fall?
14:55.
Yeah, I'll give this about another 3.25, 3.5 star match for what it was. I mean, another big win for Will Ospreay, and he lived to his promise, guys. He said that, I mean, what he did in a 2-month stretch. I mean, beating Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, and now Chris Jericho. I mean, those aren't. I mean, those are big names in professional wrestling. I mean, to say you beat those three, you could truly see why this guy Will Ospreay is one of the best professional wrestlers in the world right now. So, a big win for Will Ospreay. So there's really nothing more to say except it's a 3.25, 3.5. It's yours, Pledge.
3.5 is definitely the rating. I was hoping Jericho was going to win the match, but I think Anthony alluded to it. He was right about it. This was Ospreay's territory. Normally, when you're in the UK and everything else. Plus, unfortunately, there was some booking 101 that happened at Rev Pro. That was the night before Jericho jumped Ospreay in a match. There was a match. Will Ospreay was wrestling at Wrestle Pro and at Rev Pro, which is one of their companies in England. Jericho showed up and attacked him. So I was like, when I heard that, I was like, oh no, there it goes. It's done. Jericho's losing now. So, yep, it does happen. Ospreay does beat Jericho. It was a booking 101 moment that happened the night before, but I didn't know about it until, but then it circulated over the net earlier today, probably hours before the show even before All In started. I started hearing about that there was an incident that happened the night before at WrestlePro, and I'm like, what's going on? I saw the highlights, and I saw Jericho masked up doing the Judas effect on Will Ospreay. I was like, oh no, here it goes. So yeah, nothing more to say. 3.5 stars. Anthony, go.
Florio, you there?
Give him a second. Maybe he might have froze up on him.
That could be the case.
Yep. Let me see. Let's see. All right. Unfortunately, I think we don't have them at the moment, so we're just gonna have to move on. Yeah, we're gonna have to move on. So, all right. So next up, we had was the House Rules No Holds Barred 6-man tag team for the AEW Trios title, as it was Billy Gunn.
I'm here.
All right.
Let me recap. What did I miss?
No, you only just missed one. Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho. Will Ospreay wins in 14:55.
My apologies for having, I got called away at the last possible minute. So I know you were looking for me. So I do apologize for that. So let me go ahead here. All right. Hang on. I'm trying to clear this X. Okay. Don Callis recruiting Chris Jericho only to shun him in the name of Will Ospreay may have led to one of the marquee bouts of the card, but it did not play into the bout at all. Instead, Jericho and Ospreay worked a mostly straightforward match with minimal interference from Sammy Guevara and a clean finish as the IWGP United States champion defeated the Ocho with 2 Stormbreakers. The lack of interaction between Jericho and Callis suggests that story is over, and if the post-match is any indication, attention may turn to a mentor-protege battle between Jericho and Guevara. With frustration mounting and Jericho enduring his most frustrating year between the ropes, a loss to the Spanish God may be exactly what sends him over the edge. A good match that was never quite great. It was a return to form for a show that hit a speed bump or two in its midsection. Jericho and Fozzy performed Judas while Ospreay entered to elevate in a beautiful display of pyro from the roof of the stadium. Perhaps booking Ospreay with Don Callis was the wrong call given his status as the hometown hero here. The crowd was solidly behind him. Ospreay delivered a shooting star press from the top rope to Jericho, who was draped over the ropes. Guevara rocked Ospreay with a baseball bat to the head while trapped in the walls of Jericho, but the aerial assassin fought back into the bout and out of the submission hold. A defiant Jericho taunted Ospreay, who delivered a second Stormbreaker to score the win. After the match, Jericho shoved Guevara away and appeared to be frustrated as he made his way up the ramp, the continuation of a disappointing year. 3.5, 3 3/4 of the match of a star. 3.5, 3 3/4 of a star for the match. All right, MF, sorry to interrupt. Get to the next match, please.
All right, and that was Billy Gunn and the Acclaim versus the House of Black, winners of the bout in 10 minutes and 50 seconds, and the new AEW Trios champions. It was the Acclaim and Billy Gunn. Look, I'm happy for them. They got their moment. This is what they were waiting for. The fans were hoping for it. You know, with the tease that Billy Gunn was about to hang them up for real in AEW. There was some crazy stuff. And a not so PG moment. I'm not gonna repeat what he said, but he said something very vulgar to Julia Hart. And a hot mic caught it. So I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna utter the words. But let me just say, Billy Gunn, potty mouth, watch it next time. That was not very nice to say to a lady. Don't ever say that to a lady ever again.
In the immoral words of Carlito, that's not cool.
That was not cool. That was definitely not cool. I'm not even going to refer it, all right? So I'm leaving it at that. I do not want to go on a rant right now. I'm not in the mood for a rant. So I'm just going to leave it, park it there. It was a 2.5 to 3 star bout. History made, unprecedented crowning. The Acclaim and Billy Gunn wins the Trios title. Florio, it's yours.
What was the time again?
10:50.
That's about 3 1/4 stars or so. Need a minute here. So much effort went into rebuilding the House of Black as a legitimate threat in AEW after a year of questionable booking that to see them drop the Trios titles to the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn, in one sense felt anticlimactic, but also great in the other sense. Max Caster and Anthony Bowens delivered 2 arrivals and 2 mic drops to a seemingly unstoppable Brody King to put him down and secure the titles. The finish made Brody King look unstoppable, but the story as a whole focused more on the rejuvenation of Billy Gunn rather than the strengthening of any of the other competitors in the match. Why that decision was made rather than literally any other is a question only Tony Khan can answer. It also makes it nearly impossible for Caster and Bowens to eventually establish themselves beyond Billy Gunn. Perhaps there are plans for House of Black to win the titles back next week at All Out after paying off the story here. But why even bother weakening them at all if that's the case? At least the match was an entertaining sprint, if nothing else. House of Black paid tribute to the late Bray Wyatt during their entrance with Buddy Matthews carrying a lantern. Max Caster included a line about Prince Andrew in his pre-match rap that drew a big pop. The babyfaces delivered Sesame Timbers to Julia Hart, taking her out of the equation. King errantly leveled Black, setting up the babyface comeback. Julia Hart pulled referee Aubrey Edwards out of the ring, breaking up the count. Black took advantage, blasted Gunn with the end, but the veteran kicked out at 2. King kicked out of the arrival and the mic drop at 1. The babyfaces fired off seconds of each and won the titles. About 3 1/4 stars or so for the bout here. So, but at the end of the day, another great moment, a feel-good moment, for Billy Gunn after that scene last month where, he took the boots off in the ring and the whole 9. So great payoff for that in that sense. So not much more to say here. 3 1/4 stars. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, 3 1/4. I mean, a solid match here. I mean, great moment for Billy Gunn. He's once again a champion. I mean, yeah, I did hear that part, Fletch, with what Billy Gunn said to Julia Hart. I mean, I'm with you. I'm not gonna say it either. Yeah, I could say something, but I won't. But yeah, not to take away from this great moment here. So 3 1/4. So let's move on, Fletch.
All right, it leads us to the main event of the AEW World Title on the line. MJF versus Adam Cole, winner of the bout in 29 minutes, and still the AEW World Champion. MJF, Maxwell, Jacob, Freeman, Anthony, it is yours.
5-star classic, fight of the night. Entering today's event, fans asked the question, would it be MJF or Adam Cole who betrayed the other, leaving All In with the AEW World Heavyweight Championship at the conclusion of the company's most significant event to date? The answer? Neither. Despite several teases throughout the course of this bout, including a false draw finish, neither Adam Cole nor MJF turned on the other. Despite attempts by Roderick Strong to get his former friend to do what was necessary to take the title away from the double, Cole did the right thing and succumbed to a small package roll-up as the champion retained. This was a strong main event that hit all of the right story notes and had a finish that created doubt that MJF would have won was it not for Roderick Strong, but also ensured the most entertaining story in the company would continue, most likely in the form of Cole and MJF battling the Kingdom and Roderick Strong with the ROH Tag Team Championship at stake, maybe? Maybe as soon as All Out next week, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. This had a big match feel from the get-go, thanks in large part to a fantastic entrance from MJF. The ROH Tag Champions grabbed their new t-shirts from under the ring and put them on in a sign of unity. Cole said to his opponent, "We may be friends, but I'm better than you." And then MJF could not bring himself to tombstone Cole on the announce table. The challenger did not have the same hesitation. A tease draw was negated by MJF declaring they would go until there was a winner in Wembley. A nice callback to Adam Cole asking for 5 more minutes and being denied in their first bout. Both guys tried their best to emulate Eddie Guerrero, with MJF grabbing the steel chair and placing it around his head in time for referee Bryce Remsburg to get back to his feet. It was fun. Adam Cole accidentally turned Bryce Remsburg inside out with a Panama Sunrise. MJF refused to use his Dynamite Diamond Ring, and Roderick Strong appeared, delivering a low blow. Cole capitalized on the Panama Sunrise and the boom, but Bryce Remsburg was unconscious. When Strong tried to get him to use the AEW World title and Cole refused, MJF capitalized on the distraction with a small package roll-up for the win. After a few tense moments in which it appeared as though Cole may betray MJF, the friends hugged it out amid confetti and pyro to close out the show. 5-star classic, fight of the night. This is definitely going up there in the match of the year candidates for sure, no doubt about it. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on what was an amazing main event that stole the damn show like we all knew it would?
Yeah, this was definitely a really great main event to close out. All In, 5 stars, fight of the night. I mean, you knew this was going to be something good. Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of some chicanery at the end, but this is not going to take away from what we saw here. And yeah, again, we all thought this was where we were going to get the turn, but they hugged it out. So the big question is, as this whole thing continues, it's not if the turn is going to happen. The question is, when is it going to happen? That's something we're just going to have to really ponder on this one. So 5 stars, fight of the night. It's yours, Pledge.
5 stars, fight of the night, no doubt about it. No arguments here. It was a great way to close the show. Michael Bullock, overall review. What did you think of AEW All In?
Well, I can definitely tell you, it definitely delivered. I mean, no bad matches whatsoever. I'm gonna go somewhere between 9.5 on this one. I mean, yeah, there were some things here that I thought that really prevented this from being a perfect 10, but still, 9.5 is still nothing to sneeze at here. I mean, so many people were wondering going into this. I mean, this all in event at Wembley Stadium when they first announced it, was like, was it going to get the tickets sales? Was it going to deliver on everything that they advertised for? But all I can say is Tony Khan should be proud of himself. I mean, yeah, there are some things that he's done that really left some question marks, but other than that, it delivered. So 9.5. Like I said, it's not a perfect 10 as far as I'm concerned. So it's your Sledge.
And the thing is, Michael Bullock, and I'm just gonna say this: a lot of people is actually agreeing with you that they're in the 9 level. There's some that gives it 8, 8.5. Some people said it was a solid show. Some people has gone as far to say it was the best AEW show of the year and best AEW show by far. Now, I kind of feel like it's in the middle. I thought it was an amazing show. This was definitely worthy of a stadium show. All the action was great. The crowd was amazing. So if you want to talk about it for AEW, this was a home run in spades. This is exactly what you needed. You were hoping and praying you were going to get this, and you got it. The lofty expectations, everything that they were riding in, going on, and hoping and praying that it was going to be, it delivered. The only thing was that there wasn't any surprises, meaning there wasn't a shocking debut. There wasn't a shocking return. There was rumors of certain people that were going to show up. They did not. Maybe you could say the Mercedes Moné, but the thing is she healthy? Is that what just her just being in the crowd, just to be in the crowd, just to support? Or is there more that leads to her? We don't know. They kind of sidestepped it more than anything else. So I can't really say that. To me, 8.5 to 9. That's my rating for the show. This was a great show. Definitely the AEW pay-per-view of the year. And you could even make an argument that maybe the overall pay-per-view or premium live event of the year. You could even make an argument that way. But as far as it goes, I thought it was a solid show. It was a great event. Home run hit by AEW. Congratulations. Now can you turn that around and parlay that with an all out from Chicago 1 week from tonight? We'll find out. Anthony, it's yours.
On the grandest stage it had ever appeared on, AEW delivered an all-in pay-per-view that was more good than bad, heavily featured its best storyline, and felt like the enormous production it sold it as. After a hot start that included Punk and Joe, the trios match featuring the Golden Elite and the tag title bout, there was a noticeable speed bump in the form of the Stadium Stampede and a women's title match that was more rushed than it should have been. The show recovered nicely and ended with an exclamation point with a superb continuation of the Cole MJF saga. It would have been nice for the company to put any effort whatsoever into building toward next Sunday's All Out pay-per-view, but that's a minor gripe. The show was a major feat for the company, a massive accomplishment by Tony Khan and company. The announcement regarding the return to Wembley next year seems a bit ambitious, but time will tell if they can replicate the success of this show. One thing is for certain. The company comes out of All In hotter than it went in. Whether momentum can be sustained will be the question. 8.5 to 9 out of 10. I 100% agree with the rating. So with that, MF, let's put the bow on this thing.
All right, we're out of here. So tomorrow night is Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. He's got Monday Night Raw. I do believe there was an Impact Wrestling special event, Anthony, this past week.
Indeed. Yes, indeed there was. It was called Emergence, and I will have the results of that tomorrow night in a very special Tony's Take.
There you go. So that'll be at 11 p.m. Eastern on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And then after that, then on Wednesday Night Madness, as we get the fallout from All In and we do shift gears into All Out, then Thursday
is the season premiere of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. Don't forget that. Week 1. MF, I don't know if something happened to MF, but I can tell you Thursday is the season premiere of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday, where we will review or preview all of the games featuring top 25 teams. Game of the week will be taking place next Sunday night, as it will be a battle between LSU and Florida State. What a game that's going to be! There's some other good ones on the docket too, but But those two are the two big ones.
All right. I guess my connection dropped momentarily, or the frame rates dropped because I was about to go off on you, Florio, for interrupting me, but because I didn't think that because my little Wi-Fi thing dropped on me. I don't know what the heck happened there. So, but all right. And then of course, um, Saturday is TX is the Cerebral Smack Talk, and
What about our Payback preview? Because Payback is Saturday night.
Is this where we're gonna have to do another one of those where we're gonna have to do a Friday Saturday show? I guess we might have to do it that way. Yeah,
we're probably gonna have to do the review of SmackDown and the preview of Payback on Friday, and then the reviews of Payback and Collision on Saturday. Payback and Collision, and then we also got a preview All Out too.
Yeah, so we're gonna be busy this week, guys. We're gonna be busy this week, so we'll get it in. So we'll see you guys tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Eastern for Ridiculously Raw. For Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher saying so long, everybody, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night.